Hi, we are back with Plenty with Sulo. We started Plenty with Sulo in year 2019. This year, it's the 6th year. And this year is a special for me personally because it's marking 15 years of my journey on women empowerment. And today, the Plenty with Sulo is coming with a new look with a podcast. And also, today's episode is marking the International Women's Day. We have 4 segments in the month of March marking the International Women's Day, and we are going to telecast some inspirational talks with inspirational women. Be tuned to Daily Mirror and Lankadeepa online. Our clothing partner, G-Flock. And you have to check out G-Flock because they have all sizes. And our venue partner, Cafe King Rose, hair and makeup, Mosh, Wordplays and Ramada. And be tuned to Daily Mirror online and Lankadeepa online. This is the first segment marking the International Women's Day. International Women's Day is not just about women. It's about economy, it's about the society. So today we have a guest whom I look up for, whom I always say an inspiration. She is none other than Rajitha Jayasuriya. Hi Rajitha.
Hi Sulo.
Rajitha, this is going to be a very informal discussion and I want you to be free and also be honest.
You get nothing but honesty from me.
Before we start it, if I just ask you to just simply say who's Rajitha?
Today, if you ask me that question, it will be a very different answer that I would give you if I gave it 10 years ago. Today, I'm a mom.
So you like to say you are a mom. Very recently, Rajitha, you were appointed, as they have quoted, I'm telling, the first female chairperson for the Apparel Sector Association. Am I correct?
That's correct.
So how do you look at that role and the apparel industry in Sri Lanka?
It's an interesting role for me to take on. One, I have to say that I had to be encouraged to take on, really, because when you look at what the industry is today, it's gone through significant changes as well. When I came into this industry 20 years ago, it was in a very different role to what I'm playing today. I came in to set up a legal function for a large organization, and from that point onwards, my role evolved. And in the last 5 years, I've taken on significant new responsibilities, personal as well as professional. And with that, I've been more involved in external facing engagements. And the Apparel Association was one of them. The Sri Lanka Patel Exporters Association really is the largest body of exporters in the apparel industry, and we come under the Apex Body Joint Apparel Forum. So in this changing landscape post-COVID, economic crises, global economic shifts, there's been a lot of stress on the apparel industry and exporters also in general. So it's been a very tumultuous 5 years. A lot of turmoil, a lot of changes. The industry has had to pivot many times over. You remember during the time of COVID, we had to take on the manufacture of PPE because there were no other orders that was coming through because people were not buying in the US and in other markets. So the industry has really had to pivot. More than local circumstances, it's the global circumstances that really impact the way that the apparel industry really operates. And in the face of that, and more recently, the current trade wars that are being spearheaded by a large Western force that's coming to power again. There are many challenges that the industry will have to face. So coming into this role, it's an exciting time, it's a challenging time, a lot to be done, a lot that we need to do to support the industries here in Sri Lanka, especially the SME sector. A lot of changes within the political landscape in Sri Lanka as well that's impacting the way that industries operate, all industries. So together with the Joint Apparel Forum, there's a lot to be done for the industry as a whole.
So your profession or you're specialized in corporate law, am I correct?
That's correct.
So how you look at the struggles as in leadership as a woman aspect? Because we speak about leadership, but then again, that name comes, female leader. Right? So how you look at those struggles and how do you think you have overcome it personally?
Interesting question. I think women have many struggles to face. just being a woman means that you have many hats to wear. And I think you know this better than anybody else. And I think you've had many people on this show itself who may have spoken to it. But I have to say it again. Being a woman means you're a daughter first.
Yeah.
Then you're a sister, you're a friend, and then you grow up, you become a mother, you become a wife, then you become a caregiver not only to your children and your spouse, but your parents as well.
Yes.
So you have to wear many hats as a woman, even before or while you're entering into your professional part of your career, whether it's working as a horticulturalist or in the entertainment industry or getting into another profession like medicine, law, or whatever it is that's out there. You are constantly going to have to wear these many hats. There's not going to be a day that you're going to be able to shed those responsibilities. So the challenges are many even before you start your professional career. Balancing all of that can be very, very challenging. So it's about how you really approach it. Do you want to sort of say, I have all these hats to wear and I can't give up, I can't have a life of my own, something that gives me pleasure outside of being a mom, a daughter, and a caregiver, something that gives us fulfillment in other ways, professionally. You can say, no, I don't want it. And there are some women who are very happy playing the roles that they play, and I have all respect for that. But I was not brought up to always sit within the four lines of a square box. My parents gave us a lot of freedom growing up, and I'm very grateful looking back. My father was a public servant, my mother was a stay-at-home mom, and as a result, I had a lot of love and care and support from her growing up. She was always there for us, and she showed us, really, she was a real role model to me in that, you know, how you stay committed to a role, how you're passionate about what you care about, being steadfast, being gentle, being caring. So you learn a lot from your mother, and then you learn a lot from your father, who sort of, you know, is that strong personality, who guides you and cares for you as you grow up. So they really encouraged us always to be who we are. They never asked us to be who they wanted us to be. While I was at school, I did a lot of sports, and as a result, I had many other leadership roles as well. I did very little studying, to be honest. This is a well-known fact, but I've still landed quite well on my feet. And that really helped shape who I was, together with, like, you know, the support I had from my parents and who they encouraged me to be, and the roles I played while I was in school. All of that really made me quite up for a challenge always. You know, I don't like if things are normal, if they are routine, I get bored. So I'm constantly up for a challenge, and if I'm not pushed to sort of, you know, do something beyond what I feel that I'm capable of doing, I will just sort of lapse into, I lull into, like, you know,
we don't like boring life.
We don't like. So I think that's how, I guess, the whole evolution happened.
So I think your childhood has groomed you to look at challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles.
100%. 100%.
Okay, now if you come back to the apparel sector, we know 70% of the female workforce, even though the leadership roles are very less, you have the female workforce. And yet it took 3 decades to be elected a lady to a leadership position, right? Do you think it's the culture, or it's the male domination, or that women were not ready to take that leadership? What do you think? Why it took 3 decades? And when it comes, everyone wants, then you get highlighted, then everyone wants you, right? So is it that every time when a woman succeeds and she become the first only people really identify?
There has to be a first only in any situation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put on this mantle and say that I've sort of shattered glass ceilings. There have been many amazing women who have shattered glass ceilings in industries. So you know, there are people to look up to and follow, honestly. And I've had many role models, and I'm really grateful for that. In the apparel industry, you're very right. The large part of the workforce are female. They are the ones with the skill, and they are the backbone of our industry, really, our people. And they happen to be women, of course. But that has not always represented career advancement historically for women to come into management roles. I would say that position has changed. in the last 15 to 20 years, there have been very focused programs to bring more female leadership in the apparel industry. And you would see, if you look across today, female representation is far greater than what it was when the industry really started 35, 40 years ago. I think what it is today is because of Ransinga Premadas, as you know. He's the one who started the 500 Factories program and really gave apparel a place in Sri Lanka's history. And with that, it was the larger players who were men who came in and set up the industries and the businesses. If you look at some of the largest players, from the Amalian families to the Ashraf families to the Hydermani families, all of these are male-driven families. And yes, it was the men who set up these businesses, but there were strong women always supporting what they did. And as the organizations grew, the focus on women in leadership grew as well. And it was just a matter of time before a woman would take on this role. And I think I'm very honored to be the first woman to take on the role. And I'm quite sure that there'll be many women, who will take on this role and sit in this seat in the time to come.
That's my question. So you see a lot of men ensure they mentor successor, but you see hardly women after they become first or someone leaving that the successor become a woman. Because woman will always not look at the gender, but I see is who is the best. But when a male leader, when he's leaving or he's getting his ensure, his body get that job. How do you look at this mentorship role?
I think it's something that's getting a lot of emphasis today, sponsorship and mentorship for our succession, for women to be in more management roles. Very true. There's been a boys club that sort of governed the business circles, and I don't think that's unique to Sri Lanka. I think it's like global, world over. There are boys clubs that sort of govern or hold tight in the business circles. But again, I have to say that's changing. And if you look at the landscape 30, 40 years ago and the landscape today, we have incredible leaders in large organizations. We were just speaking about another woman who had broken through into a male-dominated industry and sort of, she is the founder, managing partner of that business. And we have many women like that. Whether it's in the SME sector or the large-scale sector, there are women who are in those roles. Historically, that has not been the role of women, right? The role of women were not to come into business and become entrepreneurs. The role of women were to be caregivers.
Yes.
So the more women that we are going to see in these roles, the more we are going to see these women mentoring and coaching other women to come up. If there weren't women in these roles, you can't have succession planning.
Agree on that.
And the fact that we have women in these roles is very encouraging for other women. Women, younger executives have women to look up to. They have role models. They know that this can be done. And I don't think any industry is off limits for anybody anymore.
There's nothing off limit. It's just that the support system is there, but are you ready to take that support system?
100%. So support system is not strong enough.
Yeah.
It's there. It's not strong enough. There's a lot of work that's yet to be done. But I think what's encouraging is that we are on that journey. We are no longer saying it's not important. And that journey is important because you have to start somewhere to end up somewhere.
Agree on that. I have seen, it's normal that married women with husband who is in a corporate leadership get more highlighted or get more advantage compared to a woman who may not have that partnership or does not have that marriage or being single. Do you think it is true, or sometimes there are disadvantage and advantage? Women who are already married and who has a background with a husband who holds a leadership position.
Yeah, it's a super question, honestly. I'm really glad you asked it. Firstly, I may not be the best person to answer this question because I'm neither married and I'm single. So I've never had a spouse to support me on the journeys that I've been in, but I've been grateful that I've had great male colleagues who've supported and sponsored me. But in a relationship, I think from where I sit and what I observe, a lot of men are in the roles that they are in because they've had very loyal, strong spouses who supported them on their journey. I know all the men in our organization, from Mahesh downwards he would always say, we were able to achieve this because our families supported us. There were a lot of sacrifices that the families had to make, but we were able to do all this and break through barriers and establish the industry to where it is today because we had strong women supporting us. Had the spouse also been working, maybe the dynamic would have been different. But when we're talking about 35 years ago, almost 40 years ago. Today the dynamic is different. People have to work. Both spouses most often have to work. The economic circumstances have changed. And in an environment like that, I think it's important if a woman would like to have a career, if that is their aspiration, that their partner needs to support them. It's not a journey that you can take alone.
Yes.
You have to have, it's a partnership. Marriage is a partnership. So I would hope that both parties would support each other's career aspirations. Having said that, it's much easier when you're single because you don't have to worry about another baby in the family. Most of my friends have talked about the fact that taking care of the husband is like looking after another child. I don't have that, but I've had to sort of push myself forward in my journey. It's whether you accept the status quo. If you're not happy with that, then where do you want to end up? How are you going to change that? So you have to sort of propel yourself forward as well, as much as somebody will support you on that journey. Same time, I've seen another side of the coin. As much as two spouses have to support each other on their own career aspirations, I've seen men taking the back seat and supporting their spouse, the woman, to take on a role in the corporate sector. And they are holding very high positions. I know of several very successful marriages where the father is a stay-at-home father, looking after the children. And the dynamic works. And even in the organization I work for at MAS, we have a very strong female leader who's just taken on an overseas role. She's left her family behind in Sri Lanka, where the father is taking care of the children and their education. And she's taken on an overseas role in one of our foreign plants, leading that plant. So there are biases that have to be changed. There are stereotypes that needs to get sort of, changed or completely eliminated.
Men also get pressure.
Yes.
Pressure. We have to understand
100%.
If they are not working and if they are not above the woman, the society condemns them.
100%. So are you then, relying on your wife to support you? There's a lot of stereotypes.
Are you a real man?
100%. And I think it's very unfair. I think it's amazing if a man steps into that role to support a woman's journey, because women have historically done that for men. So, I really look after relationships like that. They are an inspiration. And I think the perception of men in relationships are also changing, and men are far more sensitive and more evolved. I probably get shot at when people see this, but I'm appreciating that, especially the newer generation of men are ready to take their role to support a woman on their journey as well, and I think it's really admirable.
I think the new generation look at humans rather than gender roles.
Absolutely, and that's fantastic.
Yes.
There's a lot of hope.
There's a lot of hope. So I'm coming back, the first answer you gave, who you are, I'm a mother. So being a single mom and newly started schooling with new positions, new responsibilities, how chaos is your life now?
Absolutely. It's been chaos for the last 5 years. I don't think anybody prepares a woman to be a mother. They say, do it, it's fantastic, it's wonderful, and it is all of that.
There's no instruction book.
No, none of those books. Yes, if you're bringing up a robot, yes, all those books really work. But children are little human beings that are growing with emotions, and my life has been completely changed. It's upside down. This is something I really wanted, so I'm very happy about the decision. But there have been days that it's been tough. It's been exhausting. There have been days that I've broken down when I can't take the pressure of running a home, looking after, being a caregiver to my parents, and bringing up a small child on my own. And
there's no me time.
There's no me time.
There's no privacy.
None of that. I go to the bathroom, she comes in with me.
Yes.
There have been so many times, like even in the middle of the night, I'd be like going to the bathroom. The moment I leave the bed, she'll get up and come, Mama, where are you? And then she'll be sitting on my lap. So there is no, I've had to completely change the way I ran my life and live my life. My weekends no longer belong to me. I'm so tired after a tough week.
We cannot have our own plans.
Nope. My yoga is gone, my gym is gone, going for my other little therapies, hanging out with friends. I haven't watched a movie for 5 years. But at the same time, am I unhappy? No. I think there's a time in life for everything, and this is my time.
It's an experience that you have gone through, which I think you're from your face. All the emotions are there. Yeah, you spoke about leadership with pride, and in this you speak with emotion. That's the difference.
She's the center of my universe.
So happy and so proud of you. So now we had the formal question. I'm coming to the rapid fire. So rapid fire question, it's just from one sentence or one word you have to answer. It's very easy. Quick answers. I think you will love the questions. So I'm going to ask you, there's 10 questions, just simply answer whatever comes to your mind. One word to describe your leadership style.
Passionate.
A woman leader who inspires you.
In Sri Lanka?
Anywhere.
Well, in Sri Lanka, Kas is one of the women who really inspire me. Many overseas. I admire women like Oprah. I really admire women like Michelle Obama. So many women who sort of, change the way that women need to be looked at. And that's what I admire. Not because they are a female CEO or,
what they
leading
bring
a global
to the table, that's what you
inspire. But it's about changing the perception about women. And
what's the best career advice you have ever received?
This is rapid fire. I'm supposed to say very quickly. Okay. Be true to who you are.
Okay. If you weren't in the corporate world, what would you be doing?
Yoga.
Okay.
What do you mean? Okay. We need it.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Both, I would say. I can get up in the morning and I can stay up as well.
Okay. One thing you do to unwind after a long day.
A glass of wine and some nice music.
Okay. The most exciting project you have worked on?
Oh, most exciting. That's not a one-word answer. I'm sorry, Sulo. There have been so many.
But you have to tell one.
One. Tough. Oh my gosh. I would say the most, I don't know if being a mother is an exciting project, but this is the most exciting project. It's challenging me every day, every moment, every hour.
I can understand. One piece of advice you would give to your young self.
Don't ever change who you are.
Okay. If you could have dinner with any historical female figure, who would it be?
Why are you doing this to me? Historical female figure. Cleopatra.
Oh. So this is the rapid fire. I think you did well.
Thank you.
You took
not
time.
so well. It was not very rapid. I'm sorry.
But I think because we always come with, this is the corporate, and when you ask something out of the box,
yes,
it is. But I think you answered well. So this is Rajitha Jayasuriya, whom we had, a mother, a corporate lawyer, a leader, and also she's a daughter who thinks that being a woman is nothing special, but it's a human. And she belongs to us. And thank you, Rajitha, for coming on Plenty with Sulo and sharing your journey and inspiring all of us, and more than that, being you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.